Hello everybody, and welcome to the Imperial Holonet. I am GID123, and I'm gonna switch up the intro a little bit. Red Leader and Nero Cole are joining me today with some special guests from our good friends at Geekygentlmen. Mr. Sid Part 2, say hello.
Hello.
And of course, returning, Deadpoolzilla.
Yeah, hi, whatever.
Deadpoolzilla, how about you tell us what our topic is, since you were the one who suggested it?
The topic is because obviously the Star Wars fandom, and I think most people in general, 2016 has been a shit year for all of us, but we were not expecting this person to leave us. Sadly, Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed during her after her heart attack that she sustained on a flight from, what was it, London to Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yes, I know it was to LA. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it even accentuates even more that her mother, who was also a very famous actress, had passed away yesterday.
Yes, Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah. Man.
And
2016 sucks.
I know.
Fuck you, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And on Christmas Day we lost George Michaels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So basically, this topic is to talk about, I guess what the character of Princess Leia was like for us, as well as where does the Star Wars saga continue without her. And before I suggested this, there was a piece of news that I read talking about how most of Carrie Fisher's scenes have already been done for Episode 8.
Yeah, it's gonna really affect 9 more than 8.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens there. But let's talk about Carrie Fisher a little bit and her character, obviously. Also, wouldn't mind talking a little about Debbie Reynolds as well, because strangely, I know she was a famous actress and all, but for me, she's always going to be the grandma from the Halloween Town movies that appeared on Disney Channel. I used to watch those all the time as a kid, and I was surprised years later when I found out she was Carrie Fisher's mother. That was just one of those weird things that you find out that you never know as a kid, but you find out.
Yeah, you never know how far-reaching the Star Wars cast is. Like, it took me 10 years before I realized that Mark Hamill was the Joker.
That was a shock to me. Like, ooh, he did go to the dark side.
I didn't know about Mark Hamill being the Joker until I was watching the credits for Return of the Joker.
Well, not for me. I'm not really that familiar with Debbie Reynolds. I just think that it sucks that, a mother loses her daughter and then a day later passes away herself. That's just terribly tragic. Princess Leia was never my favorite character in the Star Wars mythos and everything, but she was still a cool character, and Carrie Fisher did a great job playing her. And it just sucks. It just sucks to see her go. So I'm left kind of in this just, part of me is glad, of course, that they finished filming stuff for her for Episode 8. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they'll figure something out when it comes to 9. I don't really want to focus on that part, at least on a personal level right now. Mm-hmm. And just, I'm just more like, okay, come on, she's a person, Yeah. It's like if you called, if someone called in to let your boss know that you passed away, and your boss's first reaction was, "Oh, it's all good. He got everything caught up till Monday." And
oh God!
Be like, "Well, gee, thanks."
That kind of reminds me of a meme, of a picture of Episode 3 where Palpatine's leaning into Vader, who's all burnt up, and he just looks at Vader, and the little tagline says, "So you're still coming to work tomorrow, right?" Little dark humor to lighten the mood.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine what Carrie Fisher's daughter is going through right now, because first off, she lost her mother, and then right at days later, the
next day,
she lost her grandmother. So I can't imagine what that family's going through to lose the daughter and mother, the grandmother and the mother at the same time. Like that is too much.
Yeah, this is hell for Billy Lord.
Strangely enough,
At least Carrie Fisher is still alive.
Yeah. Strangely enough, I haven't seen many people talking about the impact on episode 9 or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people posting tributes to Carrie Fisher, which pleases me quite a bit.
Same here. It's starting to come up a little bit more on forums and stuff, but for the most part, it stayed very, very calm, and I'm glad about that. I've tried not to think about it too much myself.
Yeah.
I guess for me, losing Carrie Fisher is a big deal. Again, Princess Leia is not my favorite character, but she's still one of the big three. You know, she's an icon, and it just feels weird because now she's gone, and now it's just Hamill and Harrison Ford. And I didn't expect.
Oh, kind of.
Yeah, well, they're in real life; they're still alive.
Yeah.
I didn't expect her to go first. I'm sorry. Well, Harrison's technically the oldest. But it's just kind of weird, you know. He's gone now, and from what I hear, she was a really cool lady. Just like her personality, her humor. She's one of those people who like says whatever's on her mind and is very honest about it, and I like that. I've seen some of her like skits and jokes, and like she's funny. She made me laugh a few times. So yeah, and she's actually a really good writer. Like I saw on Twitter a few days ago. There's a scene in Empire Strikes Back where they're on the Falcon and Han goes, you know, hey, Lando, and Leia goes, Lando system. That was Carrie Fisher. She wrote that. She was a screenplay doctor. And she did stuff like Hook and stuff like that, I believe. And she was a really good writer as well. So yeah.
Yeah, another thing was she was very helpful to the with mental illness and stuff like that, and raising awareness.
Yeah.
Was very open about that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add on, Ian, or?
I don't know. Like, see, I'd never really known too much about Carrie Fisher. Like, I knew in her younger days she was a bit of a party girl. That she, you know, got into a lot of drugs and cocaine and stuff. I didn't know that she was a script doctor. I didn't know too much about her. You know, I'm not typically one of those people that gets obsessed with the person behind the art. So I was still just really disappointed to hear that she was going, not just because of the effects on the movies, but I know, you know, she holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and it just sucks. It's just the perfect fuck you to the end of this year. And I don't know what, like, maybe I shouldn't say that. We've got a couple days left, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure 2016's got something planned to really kick this off in just a spectacular way.
It's due for blood.
Don't hold your breath. We got 48 hours left of this shitstorm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, and I'm sorry to immediately date the video by saying that. But.
No, that's fine. We've
fine.
dated
No,
plenty of videos.
For me, it's very interesting to see how the Star Wars community has really been, you know, thrown off of this. I mean, even a lot of the actors in Episode 7, like Daisy Ridley, was apparently just destroyed by this news.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, like, the story goes is that when they met on episode, like, for the shooting for Episode 7, like, Carrie Fisher just took Daisy under her wing and, like just pretty much mommed her the whole way.
Oh.
Man, that's just like the hardest thing to hear about. The idea that we're getting these new movies, and now just that presence of one of those actors from the original franchise, one of the people that did help make it great, is just going to be like this ghost presence on it now. You know, you just know that the people are going to go to set on the rest of these movies and just think about and just feel the weight of her not being there now.
Oh,
I mean, like, the two biggest, like, characters on sets both passed away this year. Kenny, obviously, in February, which, like, we hadn't lost any of the main Star Wars cast ever, really, for both trilogies. And then this year, too, which is just shocking.
We lost Kenny Baker, the guy behind R2, and we lost, before Carrie Fisher, we lost the actor for Admiral Akbar.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
who also played Bit Fortuna. We also lost the actress who played Jocasta Nu. We lost Red Leader, which was really nice that he got to show up again in Rogue One. Um, just about a month ago, the one guy with the bun chops on the Death Star, not Mahdi, the one with the cap who talks to Vader a few times, he passed away. And I think someone else, some other stunt actor, also passed away. Like we lost like 7 or 8 actors this year for Star Wars. Like this has been insane compared to previous years.
Yeah, it's been a brutal year for Star Wars fans and, everyone in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016 is just a really hard time, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we don't want to talk about Episode 9, and I'm not going to talk too much, but her presence is going to be missed. Like, I don't know what they're going to do, but even if she's not, like, they say she's not there because she's doing something else, and, like, it's still going to feel weird. Like, you know why.
I will say one thing about Episode 9, and this could be an interesting opportunity to use some meta commentary in a real way to show tribute to Carrie Fisher. Because obviously, in universe, Kylo Ren killed his father, so Han Solo's no longer around.
Sorry.
And also, now that Carrie is gone, they're going to, like, just as a factual matter, they're going to have to find a way to write her out. And it is entirely possible that, we will have Episode 9, part of the conclusion of Kylo Ren's story, will be coming back to the light and just realize, and at that point he won't have either of his parents around anymore.
Yeah.
And that could be an interesting way to do some meta commentary on how the fan base feels about losing Carrie. And just how people feel about losing Carrie Fisher. That could be an interesting opportunity for them to explore, but like I said, I don't want to get too much into the what's going to happen to the movie side because it just seems a little disrespectful. But it's an interesting thing to think about.
Well, here's the
little
thing
to add though. The big rumor right now is that Leia was that's really unfortunate is, and we don't have any like definitive confirmation of this or what the end goal is going to be. But the big thing that seems to be supported is that in Episode 8, Leia will be taken out for most of the action, like in a coma or something, because of a ship crash, which that's going to be kind of awkward, because just from what we can tell from Making Star Wars has said, was that Leia was going to be, again, taken out for most of 8, and then probably 9 would be her time to shine. So it's kind of unfortunate that potentially her last performance won't be much for her to do, especially after Episode 7 gave her so little, and it's really sad that, in hindsight's a bitch.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. I'll talk briefly about Episode 9 and here forth, is that you could possibly add this to the story for the characters and make it part of like a story arc for the rest of the universe. Remember in Star Trek Beyond how they took Leonard Nimoy's death and they added it because obviously Ambassador Spock was gone, so they added it as a character piece for Quinto's Spock.
I just watched Beyond yesterday, and that's still just fantastic way of doing that.
And they did it as a tribute, not like, oh, it's just a thing. No, they put a lot of heart into that story, and I feel like you could do that, especially with Luke. Now that he's pretty much the last Skywalker now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's. I don't want to get too much into this.
But that's. Yeah, like that was my only thing I wanted to speak on in terms of the films.
Right. But yeah, I just want to go back to Carrie Fisher. She was like one of the few people who like really got into the fan base. Like she was always at conventions. And I always heard like people always say great things like when they get their autograph signed and when they go to conventions. Like she would always write like lots of weird things on like the little autograph, but it would always be very kind and sweet as well. But in that
and Anthony Daniels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just always heard like very cute things and always very funny and weird things too. And it's just gonna be one of those things that you're gonna miss. Like, oh, I wish I could have gone to a convention and seen her do her thing because it sounded awesome. Red, do you have anything to say in particular? You kind of be quiet.
Just yeah, like I think in a lot of ways, Carrie's performance as Leia was like the first major female leading character a lot of us were exposed to as kids, and it's really depressing just because she has such an important legacy in terms of sci-fi and cinema in general.
She's from Hollywood
as,
royalty.
in that role, and the Star Wars fandom is just really reeling right now. Like apparently the Old Republic MMO, like right now people are holding like vigils at House Organa and stuff like that, and like it's nice to see just how the Star Wars fandom can be just screaming at each other 1 minute, but then with respect to somebody like Carrie, kind of calm down and just be good for just a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cole, I guess you're last. You haven't really.
I think the main thing that this whole thing has really imparted to me is just how much she has touched a lot of people. If you stay on Facebook or Twitter for any length of time, you'll see just how much she had an impact on the female audience, and not even the female, just the male audience in general. Just seeing just how much she inspired so many people, and now that kind of icon is gone, it's really sad, and it's leaves a lot of big shoes to be filled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I think we have to say. Anybody else have anything to say? Want to add? Just say something.
Gonna miss her.
Yep.
Yeah. I am, she is going to be missed, and it's not just, she's done voice acting roles. I mean, obviously, she's done. I didn't realize this because I didn't put two and two together. She plays the Peter's boss in Family Guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And apparently Seth MacFarlane is just devastated by this as well, because he was such a Star Wars fan, and obviously they had worked together a lot. So, man, this is tough. And she still has apparently 2 more episodes in the show that she had recorded, and they're going to do those like back to back, apparently, in tribute to her.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also remember in the Family Guy Star Wars parody, Carrie Fisher's character, the boss, played Mon Mothma. So she technically got to play 2 Star Wars characters.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
And she reappeared on Robot Chicken too.
Yeah, as Leia, and she was fantastic in that because she finally gets to swear as Leia.
I will say that, going back to her, she did advocate for a lot of mental health, but also a lot of women's rights, like how, all these uber feminists were talking about, and it eventually forced Disney to get rid of the slave Leia suit in terms of action figures. And Carrie Fisher was the first person to say, no, you idiots, I wasn't I wasn't putting that costume by force. I was put in there by some evil slug man that I killed. I used that costume to my advantage.
She was very cool about that. Yeah, that's some of her brutal honesty, and that's what I admire. I always kind of admire that brutally honest kind of talk. Yep. I think that's it for everybody. We good? Okay. Yeah. Just it's sad, and she's gonna be missed. There's only one Carrie Fisher in the world. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and this was our first crossover event. Way to start.
Wish it was on better terms, sadly.
Yeah. Hopefully we can have one that's a lot more uplifting in the future. But okay, everybody. Signing off. Not the usual ending here. So later, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.